animation industry has not been doing well in terms of like working conditions. And as of January 31st of this year, Japan's Fair Trade Commission has initiated an investigation into the anime industry's working conditions responding to long-standing concerns over labor practices, and this is amid increasing scrutiny of the industry's treatment of its workforce. Now, of course, anime has faced like long-time criticism for underpaying overworking animators, and a lot of these reports have highlighted that a lot of animators have to deal with long hours with minimal compensation. And now, in response to these challenges, the Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has pledged to enhance the working conditions and salaries of all animators and creators within the industry, and some studios, such as Mappa, have proactively implemented measures to improve employee welfare, including higher pay, better benefits, and this, of course, has been exacerbated by like the COVID-19 pandemic. There have also been streaming platforms that have put in a lot of investments into the anime industry, like Netflix, of course, with funding
Mm-hmm.
and support of training new programs, and also like purchasing new titles and like making their own original animated stories as well. So this is just a way that they're trying to address the systemic problems that are really prevalent in the anime industry.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
think that's a huge W. I think that's a huge win for animators. Something that we've been, noticing as over here on the state side
Mm.
that, just for example, Mappa will is having problems keeping up with release dates for all the titles that they have. Hell's Paradise,
Yep.
Dorohedoro, um, what's another one?
JJK is a big
Attack
one.
JJK Attack on Titan went through production nightmare on
Yeah.
how many times they had to stop or uh the final season part 6, so it's huge that these animators are going to get fair compensation and hopefully some more fair time to be with their loved ones and
Mm-hmm.
not having to work 13, 14 hours a day with little to with nothing to their name pretty much. So that's a huge W. Hopefully this gets puts in effect soon
Yeah.
and a lot of studios stop overworking their stop putting the workload so much workload on the animes because right now it is. I think it's always like a race to get the next title, the
Yeah.
next a race to get the next big anime.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the latest one I want to say, well, the latest one that has been released was I want to say was Sakamoto Days, and a lot of people are upset with the animation,
Mm.
but you're like, I mean, it was Netflix. Decided I think Netflix did the whole production of that one. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I gotta go look and see what the actual studio behind them is. Hold on one moment.
I know that with like Blue Lock season two, a lot of people are talking about the animation as well. And I'm actually almost done with Blue Lock season one, and I'm like, it's kind of like I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, please don't let the animation be that bad. Like I can stomach some bad animation, but like if it's like absolutely terrible, then I'm just gonna be disappointed because then I won't finish the anime. Of course, it's the manga. You can always read the manga, but like people like anime for a reason. They like to see the moving pictures. They like to see the story come to life. With the voice actors, the
Mm-hmm.
music, everything. And if the animation it's mediocre or it's not even mediocre, that's a very disappointing thing to see as a fan.
Well, I watched the first season of Blue Lock, and um, I watched the first season of Blue Lock, and I can say that the animation was better. I like the dub version. When I Crunchyroll let me see the movie early, so when I watched the movie,
Mm-hmm.
it was I noticed some CGI and stuff how they use the movements and everything. I didn't really think much of it. I did call it out in my review, but I didn't get into the second season mainly because one, sports anime is not my forte for the most part. Like you mentioned haiku. I never watch haiku and I hear it
Mm-hmm.
all the time. They're like it was the best sports anime of all time. And I'm like, I just haven't watched it. But
Yeah.
just be living on the internet, you see the clips of shows all the time. So Blue Lock was on my feed a lot, and that was the number one complaint that it's just a moving audiobook
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. And it's like all the animation for the sports part was just impact scenes, and you might get a little movement. But then they finally got to the final episode, and I don't want to spoil it for you or nothing like that. But it was great for the final episode. So that is 100% production issues, 100% time restraints. They probably was on a deadline. They probably needed so much. They could probably only do so much. So for the final episode, they went god level, and that what people wanted throughout the entire season. But when it comes to management and production, sometimes their hands are tied.
Everybody knows, like, I feel like when people talk about like the working conditions in the anime industry, everyone talks about Mappa because,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of people love JJK because it's one of the most popular anime that came out, especially when season 2 came out in 2023. So
Mm-hmm.
2023, right?
I think it was 2023,
Okay,
2023 or
yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people have been waiting for season 3. People have been waiting for the Zenin story arc film. Ever since the manga has ended, everyone wants the anime to pick up again. But because of the working conditions out of Mappa, and because of like rumors and things that have been coming out from the Mappa camp, it seems
Mm-hmm.
less and less likely that was going to release this year when people were talking about in 2024. So now people are looking forward to 2026. But it's kind of unlikely because the things that people are hearing are just kind of like word of mouth. There's not a lot of official statements coming out of Mappa. And as someone who loves JJK, like the ending, ah, but I do want to see. I want to see the story finish. I want to watch the anime,
Mm-hmm.
And there are many
Yeah.
times where I have to stop myself from rewatching the anime because like I miss the story so much, and
Yeah.
you want to see it come to fruition. You want to see it happen, but you don't want them to rush. You don't want it to be low quality. You want it to be the
Mm-hmm.
same quality that it was in season 2 because the Shibuya arc was insane, and to see
Mm-hmm.
that continue and see what happens with Yuji and Fushiguru and what happens now that like um homeboy from, oh my gosh, what's his name, Yuki, I always forget his name, but
Um. Oh, Utah.
Yuta, yes, Yuta.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to see the three of them come into the
Yeah. Go
story
go
through the
go
anime.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but of course you don't want animation that doesn't match the same quality as it, but people want it in a certain time. And even when we
Right.
get it late, if it does come late and if it's bad, then it's like, what did I wait all this time for?
Right.
Why?
Like, what is the reason that it was pushed back and it still came out looking like BS?
Yeah.
Just a quick um correction on my behalf. It wasn't Netflix Studios. It was TMS Entertainment who's done. They've been working since the '60s when it comes to animation. So they
Mm-hmm.
did Out of Stone, Honey Lemon Soda, which is a cool little romance. Um, Seven Deadly Sins. Oh man, I can't stand Seven Deadly Sins animation. Can't stand it. But yeah, they did one of my favorite ones that just came out in 23, Undead Unluck. They did that
Mm-hmm.
one, so okay, I can forgive them for Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but a lot of people just feel like their animation is not on par with what they thought it was going to be compared to the manga, or with
Mm.
certain panels and stuff like that. Certain scenes that showed emphasis or impact, they feel like they didn't do a good job. And who knows, that could have been production things, because they
Mm-hmm.
do have a couple titles that are coming out, within the next few years. So they might be working on things already. And when it comes to Mappa and JJK, they had to release a Blu-ray edition of the Sukuna versus Big Raga fight. Shout out to my boy. To the Big Raga fight, because the initial fight was it was still good, but it wasn't as polished as they wanted to be. So they released a
Yeah.
Blu-ray fight, the Blu-ray edition, that just made it looked phenomenal. So I get it, I understand, and I just hope that fans can be cruel. I
Yeah.
would say that fans can be exactly cruel. And then, I mean, I've been one of the people that will talk shit about an anime, but my talk shit is more, sometimes if the animation is bad, I just be like, it's not for me. But if the story's bad, then I talk shit. But but fans, they will know the conditions that Mappa's under, and they still expect perfection.
Yeah.
and they don't care. They just, as long as they get they feel, and it's just, and like, calm down. These are working human beings who need time off, who needs their R&R, just like how you need your R&R, whatever job you are. You had,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you. So we can just be a little more, show a
Understanding.
little more, yeah, a little more
Yeah.
understanding, show a little more empathy, and let's just see what happens. And like I said, this is a huge W.
Yeah, I'm glad that this is being pushed forward because this is something that people have been talking about for a long time. I know it didn't just start with JJK. I know it's been going on for a while, and I hope that the move with Japan taking this very seriously comes to the U.S. as well, because
Mhm.
Max has basically like shuttered the doors of Cartoon Network. Like a whole channel that people loved and
Yeah,
watched and grew up on. And there were all the there was a talk about working conditions for animators for the production of Across the Spider Verse and how they had to work like long hours. There were a lot of revisions that were being done, and this is something that happens a lot in America with film studios. It happened on the
and
Sonic
VVX
movie.
on VVXs, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it
Hmm.
happened on the Sonic movie, the first one. It happened on the Marvel show where people were aliens. It was
Uh,
Secret Invasion,
um,
I think.
Secret Invasion with
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson, yeah,
Yeah. So this
yeah.
has been happening for a while, and it's not just Japan, it's happening within the film industry. And it's just because like they have to meet like these certain deadlines. They need to
Hmm.
release these films, get the money and just like push out the product. But of course you have like real people who need to like sleep, eat, benefits, they need to get paid well for their
Hmm.
work. And if the work is unsustainable and it's grueling and it's wearing on people, then the product that you're going to receive is going to be bad because they're
Yeah,
not in the condition to do good work.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was talks during the SAG and SAG and writer strikes of
Mm-hmm.
the VFX crews going on strike, so they can start getting paid, because especially with Disney on how many projects they were greenlighting at the time that
Right.
needed great graphics effects and everything. They were also worried that AI might play a part in that as well.
Yeah.
We saw it.
Right. I brought up Spider Verse just because, like, obviously, Across the Spider Verse came out. Did it come out this year?
Came out 2023. I
2023.
want to say
Right. Yeah. And
Cross the
so
Spider Verse. Yeah,
Yeah, and so Beyond the Spider Verse is going to be come out. I'm not sure if it's coming out this year or next year, but obviously, like as a fan of the Spider Verse films, I would like to watch them as soon as possible, especially because Across the
yeah,
Spider Verse was left on a cliffhanger, and
it, yeah,
it
right.
pretty pisses you off. But you don't want them to rush because you don't want bad quality work, and you want
Mm,
to, of course, watch the movie in like a decent amount of time since so many things are coming out like so spaced out. And like you don't want like obviously like the producers, the directors, they're scared that people are going to forget about the movie or they're not going to put it high on their priority list when it does come
yeah,
out. But you don't want the workers and the animators who are working on this film to have to suffer under terrible conditions in order for this to come out.
right.
Because I like the Across the Spider Verse, but
Oh,
when you
yeah,
find out like how production went and how unsustainable it was, you just want to hear that like people are under better conditions for a movie that you enjoy so much. You
yeah.
know? Yeah.
It's a bitter sting, when you find out that something that you love has terrible upbringing, something
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, damn, I love it so much, but I hate the fact that they had to go through all this just to entertain me,
Right.
and you'd be like, you gotta bite your tongue and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna mess with
Yeah, that's
it.
true.
But
Cause
also, if you don't mess with it, what they went through
mm-hmm,
was for be in vain, So it's
right.
like, what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because
yeah.
I'm personally excited for Hell's Paradise season two. Like I want for it
Mhm.
to come out. I
Mhm.
really like the anime. I'm enjoying the manga so far, and I'd love to see it animated. But I don't want it to come out and not be like same quality or better quality as the first season was.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm hoping
Um,
that because Japan has stepped in and they're like making some changes to how the anime industry works, I want to see the
Mm-hmm.
same thing happen here in America because animators have been dealing with a lot here in the
Mm-hmm.
States. And animated films, anime TV shows, they are a huge draw to so many people. Even though a lot of studios want to move towards AI, you know, when it's created by people and stories are for people, it's a lot better in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
And to like just resort to using AI, which is kind of like just stealing other people's work and it's copying and it's
Yeah.
not as good. Even as AI improves, it will not be as good as something made by a person. Like you can have
Right.
AI make a movie that's like Studio Ghibli, but they cannot make The Boy and the Heron. They cannot make Princess Mononoke. Like they can't do
Mm-hmm.
House Moving
Spirit
Castle.
Away. They
Spirited
can't do
Away.
Spirit Away. They
There's
can't
nothing
do
original.
none of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, what they do with like Chat GPT, I think I seen somebody do a video where they use Chat GPT to write a script, and all they
Mm-hmm.
did was just pluck certain things from different movies, scripts, and formulated their own movie. But it was clearly taken away from other films and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
was like, damn, that's you don't want to do that. I
Mm-hmm.
see a lot of people using that as a cheat code for their resume builder. They're using it as a cheat code for uh turning in their work at school, and it's just getting out of hand to the point where will where will the originality come from, and who is willing to keep on doing stuff, who is willing to keep putting in that hard work
Mm-hmm.
to stay original and stay fresh, because after a while, it's gonna be a lot of people. You see it on YouTube now, where there's a lot of channels that just use AI voice,
Mm-hmm.
Chat GPT, and AI graphics. They don't do any type of work.
Yeah.
They give them a topic, they put the topic in, they what they want to talk about, and the AI generates almost 85 to 95% down to the voice
Mm-hmm.
of the voiceover. So 95% of the video is already done. Only thing I do is upload it.
Right.
And the AI creates the thumbnail. So it's like they're making money from not doing anything. It's a hustle. And I see that in YouTube. I don't want to see it in the movie industry. I don't want to see it in the anime industry. I don't want to see it. Period. I want to see
Yeah.
these creative minds create stuff that they have a passion for.